It is April 11th, and we are alone together during this Corona challenge, which is challenging all of us to get our meditation groove on. Today, we have Sarah Schmidt, who graduated from the McLean Meditation Institute 2 years ago, and she's in St. Louis, Missouri, and teaches meditation pretty much full time now. See what happens, and this is a perfect time to do it as people are trying to find that peace point inside. So thanks for being here, Sarah.
Thanks for having me. All right, we'll go ahead and get started. So I want to share a few thoughts at the beginning, and then I'll lead you in a meditation, and then I'll leave it open for any discussion if anyone wants to speak about anything that's on their mind, or perhaps what's going on in their life or whatnot. I'm going to mute everyone. It looks like everyone is already muted, so that's great, for the beginning part, and then also for the meditation itself. And then I'll unmute you at the end, or you can unmute yourself at the end if you have any questions, or if you want to add anything to the discussion, or if you want to talk about the experience that you have in the meditation today. There is a chat box if you're not all that familiar with Zoom, if you've never used the platform before. There's like a ribbon either on your cell phone or on the computer that says chat. So you can type any questions that you have in the chat box, or if you want to, you can chat or you can type in the chat box where you're calling in from today, and a quick hello as we get started here. So hopefully you can all find that. And so, like I said, I want to start with just a few thoughts that I have today around what's going on. And so I recently, if you heard Sarah and I talking as you were getting on the call today, I recently was in the healthcare field. So that was my field before I started teaching meditation full time now. And so a lot of my friends are in healthcare, and one of my friends in particular, she's a doctor, and she isn't seeing the full effects of COVID just quite yet. Although I think it's coming. St. Louis is maybe a little bit slower to get some of the effects versus some of the bigger cities like New York City. But anyway, she came to me and she said, Sarah, I know like I'm feeling the effects of stress and anxiety and being really scared, but I try my hardest to like get out of that response and get into a more peaceful, calm response. And she actually is a meditator. And she's saying that when she talks to some of our other friends, or when she's at work, she almost feels like guilty or bad for not being like stressed out all the time. And so it made me start to think about sympathy versus empathy. And so I think just in general, all of you on the call are meditators or meditation teachers. And so I think it's really important that we understand the difference between the two. And so sympathy is actually feeling the feelings of those around us, whereas empathy is understanding their feelings. And so stress, if we take that a little bit further and we talk about stress is actually, it's a very natural phenomenon. And it's meant to keep us safe and to keep us alive. So I want to share a quick picture here. Hopefully this works. Here we go. So I had the opportunity a few years ago to go to the Serengeti. And so at the Serengeti, there were some lions. And so the lions serve here, if we're talking about stress, they serve as the threat. And I got to see them chasing some zebras, which was pretty cool. But the lions themselves were like the threat. So, and today it might be the COVID, the virus that's going on. And the zebras are like all of us kind of running around like crazy. And so the zebras that are on the end over here, they're actually the ones that were in fact seeing the threat. So they were seeing, stop the sharing here. So they were seeing the lion, but the ones in the middle of the pack, they didn't see the lion, but they were still having that same response that all of the other zebras were having. And so I think that kind of illustrates that it's a very natural phenomenon to, when we talk to other people, even though we're physically distancing. So even though you can have 6 feet apart, we're still watching the news and we're still talking to our friends and we're around our colleagues. So it's very easy to get caught up in that stress response. And in the Serengeti, that only happened for a few minutes, and then the zebras dispersed and everything was fine, and they went back to laying down and eating grass and whatever they did. But in our lives, the stress builds up over time, and we have no idea how long this quarantine is going to last and how long the virus is going to be out there. And so some of us tend to get caught up in that stress. And for my friend, it could be several more weeks where she's dealing with this. So it's really like so important that we take time to get out of that fight or flight response, the sympathetic nervous system, and go more towards the rest or digest or parasympathetic nervous system. And so it's great that all of you are on today because you're able to meditate, and that's definitely one of the ways to calm some of your stress and to get back into that rest or digest period. But it's important to, like, meditation actually helps us. So when we meditate, outside of meditation, we start to realize that fear, and we can kind of calm ourselves down by either doing stress reduction exercises like just walking or eating healthy, or meditating or practicing mindfulness to alleviate some of that and to not spend all of our time in that stressful state that can easily happen to us. And it's so important right now because right now we need to be able to think creatively. And for my friend who's the doctor, it's important that she's able to think clearly so that she can take care of her patients. And then also, when you're in a stressful state all of the time, what happens is your immunity goes down. And so it's important for all of us to stay healthy and to take care of our immune systems. So I briefly wanted to talk about that. I'm going to lead you in a guided mantra meditation. So if you're new to meditation and you've never done mantra meditation before, I'll briefly explain what it is and how to do it, and then I'll lead you in it. So mantra, when you think of the word, you may think of some like fancy slogans. For example, BMW is the ultimate driving machine, and Dove is real beauty for real people. And so that's what we kind of think about when we think about mantras in today's society. But mantra in meditation actually means instrument of the mind. And so the mantra that I'll give you to use today is actually meant for you in meditation when you have thoughts or you become distracted, to bring your attention back to the focus of that, or back to the focus of the meditation, which is that mantra. So, so there's no need necessarily, I'm going to introduce the mantra that we'll be using today, but there's no need to know exactly, I'm going to tell you what it means, but there's no need to focus on what it means. It's not like the slogans of the mantras that you hear commercially today. It's more so meant to be an instrument of the mind, like I said, so that every time your attention begins to wander, you bring your focus back to that mantra. So today's mantra is going to be so hum. And when I introduce the mantra, I'll have you attach it to your breath. So what I mean by that is you'll silently think on the word so. It'll be, or on your inhale, you'll think the word so, and on your exhale, you'll think the word hum. So it'll be so hum. And I'll lead you in the meditation. I'll explain when you're going to introduce the mantra, so you'll be able to use it on your own. And as we get started, I want to talk briefly about a few points. If you are new to meditation, thoughts are okay. So thoughts are going to arise during the meditation, and they're perfectly fine. Just notice the thought and bring your attention back to the focus. Be kind to yourself, no matter what comes up. If you have a ton of thoughts, it's okay. Simply notice the thoughts, be kind to yourself, and then come back to the meditation. Don't try too hard. So don't try too hard to focus on the mantra. Just allow it to be natural and normal. And when thoughts arise, bring your attention back to that mantra. Let go of any expectations you have around the meditation or around meditation in general, or start with a beginner's mind. And then stick with it. So stick with it throughout the entire time. Today we'll be meditating for 15 minutes. So you'll hear a bell when the meditation begins, and you'll also hear a bell when the meditation ends. Go ahead and sit comfortably and find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. And you can place your hands gently on your lap. Your hands can either be palms up or palms down, whatever is most comfortable for you. And begin by taking a few deep breaths in and out through your nose. Now allow your breath to be natural and normal. And become aware of how your body feels. Bring your attention to the very top of your head and relax your face. Let go of any facial expressions that you might be holding. Relax your scalp and your forehead. Soften your eyes and your ears. Soften your belly. Just notice how your seat feels on your chair or cushion. Relax your arms and your hands. Relax your legs. And relax your feet. Bring your attention and your focus back to your breath. Noticing your breath where you feel it the most strongly. Could be up around your nose or in your chest, or perhaps down in your diaphragm and your belly. No need to change the breath or force the breath. Simply sit with the breath. And begin on the inhale to think the word so. And on the exhale, think the word hum. So, hum. Keep your focus on the sensation of the breath while you silently repeat this mantra. I will keep track of the time. If you lose the mantra or thoughts pop into your head, remember it's completely normal. Bring your attention back to the focus of the mantra. Don't try too hard. Simply let it come naturally. Continue to bring your focus back to the mantra, so hum. Be kind to yourself. You are doing it right. When thoughts do arise, there's no need to push the thoughts away or to attempt to control anything. Simply notice the thoughts and bring your attention back to that mantra. So, hum. There's nothing to figure out and no particular feeling that you should have. Simply sit with the mantra. When your mind begins to wander or you have thoughts, gently refocus back to the so hum. It doesn't matter how many times you lose track of the mantra, continue to bring your focus back. You are doing it right. Notice the internal chanting of the sounds and the sensation of your breath as you repeat so hum. So hum. Now you may softly let go of the mantra and return your focus to your breath. Notice the way your breath feels in your body. No need to force it or to change it. Simply sit in awareness. Now bring your attention and your awareness to any sounds that you hear around you. It could be internal sounds, such as the sound of your breathing or your heartbeat, or external sounds, such as the sound of my voice. No need to figure out what the sounds are or to create a story around the sounds. Simply notice the sounds. Notice if the sounds are far away or close up. And notice the space between the sounds where there's silence. If your mind begins to wander, or you start to create a story around the sounds, remember to bring your focus back to the sound and simply notice the sound itself. The meditation has ended, but continue to keep your eyes closed and savor the silence for a few more seconds. You may deepen your breath or move your arms and your legs into the space around you. It's important to take time coming out of meditation. You don't want to jolt our nervous system. You never know how deep you've gone. And when you're ready, if you're not ready, that's completely fine. But when you're ready, you may slowly open your eyes, first with a downwards focused gaze, and then you can open them more fully when you're ready. And I'm going to open it up. So if anyone has any, I think I'll let you unmute yourselves if you know how to do that, just so that it's not too noisy. But if anyone has any wants to share their experiences or has any thoughts or comments or questions around the meditation, feel free to do so. And you can type those in too if you'd rather. And I'll stick around here for a few more minutes if anyone has anything. We're getting some comments in the comment box. Thank you, Carol, for joining us. And thank you, Kim. All right, I'm going to end with a little quote here, and then I'll still stick around for a couple more minutes just to see if anyone else thinks of anything. Some of you may be soaking in the meditation, which is fine. So the secret to happiness is letting every situation be what it is instead of what you think it should be. So something to think about as you go throughout your day today. So thank you for joining me. And I'll end the call if no one has anything else to add. Oh, I just got one question from Tom. Can I use words I choose for a mantra? It's perfectly fine to use your own mantra. I probably should have mentioned that at the beginning. But when you do mantra meditation, it's perfectly fine to use your own mantra. Some people choose to use like the word amen, for example, or a mantra can be silent or it can be chanted internally or externally, sorry. So you could use like om, or really anything that you want. It's important not to try and, you wouldn't want to use like the word Hawaii, for example. That has a lot of connotations. You may be thinking about the beach instead of using the mantra for the meditation itself. But in most cases, you can use your own mantra if you wish to. Good question. All right, thank you. All right, everybody have a great day. Thanks for joining. And